Welcome to the Gaggle, where we talk politics beyond what's in print. Dustin, you have been writing quite a bit about legislation down at the state capitol that would potentially ratify the Equal Rights Amendment. What is this, and will Arizona be the pivotal state?
Yeah, believe it or not, Arizona could be the crucial 38th state that supporters say they need to ratify the ERA. This effort has been attempted in the Arizona legislature numerous times before. It has died, has been blocked by Republican legislators, but this time there are a handful of Republicans in each chamber who say they might get on board, and that could give supporters the votes they need to make Arizona the linchpin state to ratify.
So what are supporters doing to get this over the finish line? And it's not just ladies who are supporting this, right?
Yeah, they actually have a few Republican men that have come on board. The bill has been blocked by a couple people in Republican leadership who have not let it come up for a vote or a hearing. So supporters are trying to put a lot of pressure on leadership in the House and the Senate to bring this up for a vote. They're marching 38 miles this week. You might remember I said we could be the 38th state, so there's a lot of symbolism there. And they're just trying to ramp up as much public pressure as they can on this, and they have support around the nation coming in.
Yvonne, speaking of women and important matters in politics, last week Senator Martha McSally had sort of a surprise announcement before the Senate Armed Services Committee involving a sexual assault that allegedly occurred when she was in the Air Force. What did she tell us about this, and what didn't she?
This was a pretty defining moment for Senator McSally. I think here in Arizona, not a lot is really known about her life prior to her service in the Congress. She revealed for the first time in pretty horrific detail that she was raped while she was serving in the U.S. Air Force, and that she did not trust the system to handle her report, so she never reported it, and she became so distraught over her experience and her impressions of how leadership would handle the report that she almost left the U.S. Air Force. And so it was a pretty revealing moment. She made national headlines, of course. Not a lot of people were expecting this. She says that she hopes her experience really shines a light on the systems that have failed women and men who serve in the armed forces, and that she hopes to use her voice as a U.S. Senator to help stop sexual assaults and to improve the systems when it comes to reporting. And she has a pretty big vote coming up in the Senate this week on President Donald Trump's border wall. This is essentially a resolution, and the House has, democratically controlled House has passed a resolution that essentially says, we don't like this thing. They kicked it over to the Senate. How might McSally and Sinema vote on this?
You know, the fact that we can't just say automatically is interesting, because this is a measure that passed in the House almost entirely on partisan lines. Democrats support this rebuke of the president using his emergency powers, and Republicans generally opposed it. What we have in the Senate is something where it's at least an open question how Martha McSally might vote on this. Kyrsten Sinema has more or less shown her hand, suggesting that she thinks that the president should be working with the Congress on these matters. Senator McSally, who is up for a re-election next year, has really kind of struggled with this one. She's leaned on Vice President Mike Pence, wants to know how this is going to affect Arizona. If they move money around in the Pentagon, will that take away from anything that might be spent in Arizona? It's a big decision. It's also something that is sort of a question of your value, how much you put on checks and balances in government. So for Senator McSally, a big test.
She might. This might be the first instance in which she separates herself from the party, right?
Right. And this happens again as she is about to face voters again next year, and will probably want and need President Trump's support. So the president has signaled that this may be his first veto. Which side of that veto does she want to be on?
We'll see. So the border wall is all the talk in Capitol Hill, here in Phoenix, and in Mexico, but it wasn't really a topic of discussion in the bleachers at a D-backs game that you were at in Mexico. Dan, take us there.
Well, it's spring training time now in Phoenix, and what was interesting is over the weekend, the Diamondbacks flew from their home here in Phoenix to Mexico to play 2 spring training games against the Colorado Rockies. And this is all part of the Major League Baseball's big push to try and expand its fan base and try to get more people in Mexico to buy tickets, buy merchandise, buy ball caps, and also to play baseball. And it was interesting to see, well, how many people were going to show up to these games, considering the political backdrop now that just a few weeks ago, the president declared a national emergency to bypass Congress to get funding for his border wall. It's also happening at a time when we have a president that routinely disparages immigrants from Mexico. And what was surprising was that there were a lot of fans there. There was about 10,000 fans at each one of the games. And it was obvious when you talk to them is that they hate what they hear from the president. They don't like to see a border wall. They consider that offensive, an insult to them. But they love sports and they love baseball, and they were willing to come out. And a lot of the people I talked to weren't aware of either teams, and they were choosing the Diamondbacks to root for to become kind of their team. So it was a really cool experience.
Baseball loved by both countries. I don't know how you can't love it. Go D-backs. You can follow our political coverage on azcentral.com, Facebook, and Twitter. We'll see you next week.